welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing a video on what you should pack in your hospital bag. I had my daughter 14 months ago, so I'm just going to go through all the things that I did use, and just basically there's a lot of stuff that you pack that you just don't need to. I'll start with what you pack in your own bag. So don't forget your maternity notes, a towel, a wash bag. You can get like these small little ones from B&M that do like a little pack, or you can buy those travel bags from Superdrugs and things like that, and they're really good for the future when you want to go on holiday. So you just put some small stuff in there rather than taking the big bottles and making it super heavy for yourself. Now, I was really foolish into thinking that leggings were comfy, but no, my tummy was really swollen and leggings were just not comfortable. So just pack some extra baggy tracksuit bottoms that are not going to put any pressure on your tummy. If it's summer, wear a dress. Just make yourself as comfortable as possible. No one cares. You're just going home. I'd also recommend getting a dressing gown. Try and get the really thin, like cotton ones, really cheap ones from Primark, because hospitals are really hot. So don't waste your time having some thick, cozy one, because you're just not going to want to use it. It's really hot. You just want to throw something on to go to this toilet, to go make a cup of tea, things like that. Next thing I'd recommend is getting some nighties, preferably the ones with the buttons on them, especially if you're breastfeeding. If you're not, they're also good, but just normal nighties will do. I don't recommend you having any bottoms on, because your tummy will still be pretty sore, it will be swollen, and you won't really want anything on your tummy, especially if you've had a C-section. So that's just something to bear in mind. Your tummy's still going to be a bit swollen, a bit tender, and nighty's the best option, really. Something else you want to think about is either slippers or flip-flops. I recommend taking flip-flops because when you go to the showers, things like that, your room, if you're lucky enough to have a room, might not have its personal shower or whatnot. So just take some flip-flops. It saves you from getting on the dirty floor, your pads after, or you can get these maternity pants. They go above your belly button, so if you have a C-section, they're really good as well. And yeah, I personally thought that I'd prefer the pads, but I didn't. I preferred the pants. I thought they were a lot better, a lot comfier than wearing your normal underwear. So yeah, it's really, really important to take Lucozade, energy drinks, things that, well, not like Monster, things like that, but things that are going to keep your energy up, a bit of sugar, some snacks. I fainted during labour and 3 or 4 times after because I didn't keep hydrated enough. I wasn't drinking enough. I was just like, oh, it's just too painful. I was not interested in food and drink and things like that, and I really suffered for it after, and I was really scared to hold my daughter because I was so worried about fainting. So make sure that you keep up your energy during labour and after, because they will offer you honey water to try and boost up your energy, but it just made me throw up. So just get the stuff that you like and make sure that you are keeping especially hydrated, but try and eat too to keep your energy up. Chargers. Now, with the hospital that I was staying in, my charger didn't reach the bed, so I just recommend getting a cheap, extra long one from Amazon. It's not like you're not going to use it for as long as it lasts, so just get one of those. Take a laptop, an iPad, your camera, your phone, obviously. To be honest, I didn't use my laptop once, but if I was to stay in overnight, like longer than I did, it would have been a good idea, but I think I was so caught up in the moment, there was so much going on, I just didn't use it. But I know that if I stayed there any longer, I would have wanted it. Stuff for your partner. I think when you're obviously expecting the baby, it's all about you and the baby, and people just forget about your partner, especially if your partner's staying with you, if you're out of COVID times and you're lucky enough that your partner's with you. Get them a pillow, pack their stuff in them, get them a little wash bag, make them feel special too. Something really, really silly that I didn't actually use, but I used to use it a lot when I was a kid, is this cooling spray. I mean, they sell it in the pound shop. If you feel like you're a really sweaty person, or everybody gets sweaty when they're in labour. It's just nice to cool down whilst you're going through labour. You might hate it, but it's something good to have. A fan, a little spray water bottle, flannels, things like that. Things that are going to keep you cool, because like I said, you do get sweaty, you'll get hot, you're pushing a baby out of you. It might be good, you might hate it, but it's always good to have that backup just in case you do want it. The last 2 things are mainly for your recovery after. I had a lot of stitches. I mean, when I gave birth, we had 6 hospital staff in the room. We had the specialist because I tore quite heavily and there was a lot of complications when I gave birth. She's here safe and sound. She was amazing, lovely, nothing went wrong to the extent that anything was bad, but The recovery process after was very, very painful. Sitting down was very painful. So something to think about is getting yourself a ring donor. I got one of the foam ones, but I mean just one of those blow up ring things that kids use in the pools will do. Just something so that you are not putting pressure on your stitches. It's going to help you recover faster. It's going to be more comfortable to sit down, things like that. You can use, I mainly used it in the car because other than that I was like laying down so that it wasn't touching. But when I was breastfeeding, it was really helpful, and when I was in the car it was really, really helpful, or if we had guests over, because I had my daughter pre-COVID. Yeah, it was just a lot more comfortable to sit upright with a ring donor. C-sections, you're obviously going to have stitching on your tummy as well, so you're going to need to have underwear that goes over that stitching. So you want underwear that goes above your belly button. So the ones that come with the pads already in them, I mean the hospital do give you 1 or 2 depending on how long you're there, but if you're going to go down the, I'm sure they sell them in Boots. The ones in Boots weren't that comfortable. I'm sure Amazon might sell better ones. But yeah, something that's going to go over the stitches so that you're not catching it, it's not going to be caught. Just really big underwear, go a couple sizes up, really, really comfortable clothing just in case you do have an unplanned C-section, or if you're having a C-section and it is planned, just make sure that you know where those stitches are going to be, where your underwear is going to sit in. The higher the better, really. Okay, moving on to your baby bag, the exciting stuff. We thought that our daughter was going to be super, super small. Everyone was expecting her to weigh about £5, but she was 2 weeks late and she was £7. So for me, I had a newborn size, a tiny baby size, and I had just the 0 to 3 months because we wasn't sure how big she was going to be. She was pretty small, so she was very slim, and we ended up using the newborn sizes, but it's always good, if you, especially if you don't know the weight of your baby and you feel like he or she is going to be small, pack a few different sizes and then pack 3 sets of like the 0 to 3 month size if you think, you know, that's the size that they're going to be, but the size that you think they're mostly going to be, pack 3 sizes, but then pack 2 extra sizes just in case you think they're going to be a bit smaller. Muslins, really good, throw over your shoulder. They'll be good for when you're feeding, when you're burping, things like that, just to clean up their face. It's always good to have those. Formula and bottles, even if you plan on breastfeeding, you might struggle to breastfeed. It might not be for you, you might decide that you don't like it, things like that. So it's always good just to have those like small bottles that you can get. And also, if you are not planning on breastfeeding, your baby might not take to the milk that you have chosen. So for instance, I chose Aptamel. I breastfed, but when I wanted to change her over and when we wanted to just bulk her up a bit, I tried to put her on Aptamel and it didn't work. She hated it, spat it out. We tried her on all different brands just to see which one she took to, and in the end she took to SMA, and that was the only one she would drink. But yeah, just make sure that you have a bottle and some formula as backup just in case. Obviously the bog standard, you want your nappies, your nappy bags, your wet wipes and your creams and a changing mat. They're just standard everyday what you're going to need. What I do recommend is the first couple of days I didn't use wet wipes on my daughter at all. We used cotton wool with some warm water to clean her up. We did that with the bathing as well, just to get all the gunk off of her, and we just found that it was a lot nicer to do than putting wet wipes all over her. But that was just in the early newborn stages. Once she was a couple of days old, we just moved on to wet wipes. I forgot in my bag, but I wanted to take my own towels. I didn't want her using the hospital towels. I was a bit funny about that. I don't know, I'm sure, like I said before, I'm sure they're all clean and stuff like that, but I just liked having our own stuff. So for me, I wanted to put in her own towel. I cleaned her up with our stuff. My daughter is a bit older now, so these are not exactly the ones. I'll post a picture of the ones that we did use for my daughter. You can get swaddle blankets and swaddle bags. This is just a normal sleep bag. Now, you can only use it until they start to roll. It might even be like the first month that you can swaddle them or something like that, and then after you can't. I'll double check. But you've got to remember, a lot of people are against swaddling. I definitely wasn't. I mean, both I was swaddled, my partner was swaddled. I know loads of babies that swaddles. I've read up on the benefits of swaddling a baby. So what I'd say is, if you are contemplating it, look it up, see if it works for you guys. I mean, your baby might hate it. Some babies hate being swaddled and some love it. For us, we would just try and error and see what worked for us. She loved being swaddled. You've got to remember that they've been in your tummy for 9 months, so they're used to that warm, cozy type feeling. To then come out into this open world where they're not being cuddled and it's just open and expected to lay down and go to sleep doesn't necessarily work. So for us, swaddling was a really good option and she loved it. So it was actually more difficult to get her out of the swaddle because she didn't want to be in a sleep bag. She wanted to be wrapped up. Lastly, depending on the time of year, in the summer we used like linen, kind of like an extra large muslin blanket. She's older now, so in the summer she just had it laying over her. She loves a blanket, loves to be wrapped up, so this was a good option. She'd be in something light and then a linen blanket. For the winter, she had much thicker blankets. This is the one that we brought her home in and things like that. So just bear in mind the temperature, what kind of blanket is going to suit your baby, what they like. They might not like to be swaddled, they might not like to have lots of layers on them, they might like to be free, so just have a couple of choices, but don't overpack your bag. And then the last thing that I think everybody plans on doing, but not many people actually do it, is the coming home outfit. We did have a coming home outfit, and I'm pretty sure she didn't actually come home in it. We put it on her, and then she threw up, had a bit of or did she have a poo explosion? One or the other. She ended up not wearing it, and she wore a completely different outfit when she was born because my mum was getting her dressed, and when she was coming home she had a different outfit. So her coming home outfit she wore during the day on a random time in the hospital. It wasn't actually when she was first out or when she was coming home. So yeah, I hope you liked this video. I hope it gave you some more knowledge about what's basically rubbish that they tell you to pack and what's good stuff to pack, what you're actually going to use. Like I said, I didn't use my laptop. That's something that I sent my partner with. I said when he went to take the dog out, I was like, take the laptop because I'm not going to use it. Definitely keep yourself hydrated and have lots of snacks, take lots of pictures. That this period will never ever come again. Your baby has just been born, things like that. Make it really special, make it really memorable. And most of that stuff, all of this stuff doesn't really matter as long as you and your baby are nice and healthy and nice and safe. So hope you enjoyed. Hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, comment down below, tell me stuff you want to see, and I'm going to try and keep up a series of expectant mums and what you need to pack, what you need to do, top tips, things like that. So enjoy.